Right, it's Business, and Sandra AFENU has joined me in the studio. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Adriel. Finally, we have a new minimum capital requirement for the insurance
We've been
sector.
waiting for this for a while now,
Yes,
actually.
you've been talking about it for quite some time now.
You bring us the details.
All right. Hello, good evening. My name is SANDRA, ESINAM AFENU, and I'm sure you know why I'm here for business. After a series of stakeholder consultation, the National Insurance Commission has officially announced the minimum capital levels for the insurance sector. The over 200% increase, according to the Commission, is to complement government's effort in strengthening the financial sector. Insurance firms would have up to June 2021 to fully recapitalize. Justice Yaufori is Commissioner of the Insurance Commission.
Insurance companies, that is both life and non-life, had a previous minimum capital requirement of 15 million Ghana cedis. Their new minimum capital requirement is now 50 million Ghana cedis. With respect to insurance, reinsurance companies, their previous minimum capital requirement was 40 million, which has been revised to 125 million Ghana cedis. Insurance broking companies have their minimum capital requirement revised from 300,000 to 500,000 Ghana cedis. Reinsurance broking companies have their minimum capital requirement of 1 million still maintained. To ensure the capitalization exercise achieve its intended objective of improving the financial capacity and liquidity of the insurance industry, reinsurance companies will be required to meet the new minimum capital requirements through fresh capital injection, capitalization of audited profits, that means retained earnings, or a combination of the two. Injection of property will not be accepted. Any unencumbered property that is introduced will have to be sold for cash by at least 6 months before the capitalization date of December, that will be December 31st, 2020. The minimum capital requirement will be immediately applicable to all new applicants and pending applications. Existing firms will have until June 30th, 2021 to comply with the new minimum capital requirements.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner has also been justifying the percentage increase.
It has become necessary because we needed to contribute more meaningfully towards the government's agenda of stabilizing and strengthening the economic sector so as to lead to a good development in the socioeconomic side of the economy. Looking at that, we at the National Insurance Commission decided to make a deep analysis of where we are. So we had to analyze our market, and we came to the opinion that there was a need to revise the minimum capital requirement. It is significant but very important to have a very strong insurance market. Risk management is very core to insurance business, and we expect the players within the insurance industry to have the resources available to pay claims when the risk they have insured experiences a loss. So insurance is a serious business, and as I said, risk management is core. So we have to make sure that our insurance companies have the capacity to pay for claims when the risk they have actually insured experiences a loss.
To other stories now, and CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, Yofi Grant, says government is considering varied ways of ending the impasse between Nigerian retail traders and their Ghanaian counterparts. One of these measures will be to make Ghanaian retail traders more competitive. Yofi Grant was speaking to Joy Business on the sideline of the second day of the China Trade Week in Accra.
The Ghana Investment Promotion Authority, GIPC, is concerned about the recent tension between Nigerian retail traders and their Ghanaian counterparts. Speaking at the sidelines of the Day 2 of the China Trade Week, Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, tells Joy Business a high-powered government panel is currently meeting with the Ghana Union of Traders Association and the Nigerian High Commission to Ghana to find a lasting solution to the impasse.
Yesterday, we spent the whole afternoon with the parliamentary committee, if I Speaker's Committee of Parliament, that had the Committee on Trade and Investment and the Committee of Defence to work out how these things work. I mean, how we can work these things out. It's an unfortunate situation, but at the end of the day, we want to see our Ghanaian enterprise grow. We want to see our Ghanaian investors and business people also grow. There are social implications, there are defense implications, there are international implications. So the committee that was formed a couple of months back to deal with it is also actively working.
So far, the Ghana Union of Traders Association says they keep recording losses due to the influx of Nigerian retail traders on the Ghanaian market. This, Yofi Grant argues, could rather be linked to a lack of competitiveness.
We want to create opportunity for our people. So how do we move this whole thing to see how we can incentivize our retailers to be competitive? Because once they are competitive and they can outcompete anybody come to the market, I'm sure this problem won't be there.
With high expectation of meeting a target of $10 billion by year's end, Mr. Grant believes the current impasse will not affect foreign direct investment from Nigeria.
It became a big social problem.
Nigerian authorities seem to be very disturbed. Could this affect FDIs from that side?
From Nigeria? Not quite. Not quite. I mean, we haven't seen it happen. We have had quite a number of requests from Nigerian investors looking at the Ghana market, but most of them are on actually manufacturing. They are not just only on the trading side. So we will. I think is a problem that we will solve.
Section 27, Clause 1 of the Ghana Investment Trade and Promotion Center GIPC Act 865 states that a person who is not a citizen or enterprise which is not wholly owned by citizens shall not invest or participate in sales of goods or provision of service in a market, petty trading or hawking or selling of goods in a store. But this provision, according to Guta, is being blatantly flouted by these Nigerians.
We're still on that development, and government has assured of its commitment to firmly deal with the issue of foreigners trading in the retail market. This follows recent heightened tension between Ghanaian retail traders and their Nigerian counterparts at Swami Magazine at Kumasi in the Ashanti region. And Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah has been insisting that they need actually more time to close the chapter on these issues, and so we'll be bringing you that story later in our subsequent bulletins. But Parliament has approved the annual public debt budget report for the 2018 financial year after a heated debate in the House today. Details plus other local stories in the business summaries tonight.
Parliament has approved the annual public debt report for the 2018 financial year after a heated debate between the majority and minority members on the floor of the House on the figures presented. The minority caucus criticized government for bloating the nation's debt stock from 122 billion Ghana cedis to 173 billion, whilst the majority side applauded government's economic management team for sound economic management. The receiver appointed to liquidate Unibank has filed an application in court to halt an arbitration hearing with shareholders of the bank. The application, filed by lawyers for the receiver, Nia Amano Dodu of accounting firm KPMG, is asking the court to also make a determination on the previous ruling which directed the case for arbitration. Trade Minister Alan Kojo Tremanting has assured Parliament that Akosombo Textiles Limited is currently not in a situation that could be described as facing the risk of total collapse. He added that government had taken concrete actions to restore the company to its glorious days as a veritable source of employment and income generation for people in the Sujaman and surrounding communities.
All right, that's all for business for now, but I'll surely be back after 8 p.m. and a lot has been happening in the retail market. But how is the business community in Nigeria receiving this news, and what is the possible impact on businesses, Ghanaian businesses actually there? We'll be going live to Nigeria when I return for more.